Dear students, welcome to online class 8. On previous days, I have given you some instruction about transformation from affirmative to negative and assertive to interrogative. Today, I am going to give you some information how you can transform an assertive sentence to an imperative sentence. And I know all of you know the definition of imperative sentence. By an imperative sentence, one can give an order, one can make a request, one can offer something, or one can make a promise also. Now, I am going to give you some information on how can you transform an assertive sentence to imperative sentence. As all of you know the definition of imperative sentence, I am not going on definition. Today, the topic is assertive to imperative. Whenever you are asked to transform an assertive sentence to imperative sentence, you should be careful about some items. In assertive sentence, what type of subject has been used? In assertive sentence, what type of subject is used? You should be careful about subject. You should be very much careful about subject. Then you should be careful about what type of assertive sentence has been given. If the assertive sentence is in affirmative mode or in negative mode. It may be affirmative or negative. You should be careful about its classification, affirmative or negative. You should be careful about it. The assertive sentence may be in affirmative mode or in negative mode. Then, number 3, you should be careful about its verb. Now, dears, what are the things that you should be careful about? The subject that has been used in assertive sentence, the mood of assertive sentence, it may be in affirmative or negative, and the used finite verb. Okay? Dears, look at the board please. Now I am going to write down some assertive sentences and you should follow these instructions. What I am going to use in the assertive sentence is subject and verb, and if the sentence is in affirmative or negative. Please, you should help the poor. You should help the poor. This is an assertive sentence and the structure is subject, finite verb and object. The second sentence, you must go home now. You must go home now. The third sentence, you ought to obey your elders. You ought to obey your elders. You can notice that in these 3 assertive sentences, I have used you as subject. And all of you know you, if I identify it as a person, then it is second person. Second person in all assertive, in these 3 assertive sentences, I have used you as a subject, and all of you know that you is second person. And I have used an auxiliary verb also. Should, must, ought to. And find the principal verb here, help, go and obey. Now, I have identified the subject. What is the subject? You. And if the sentence is affirmative or negative, you can see that the assertive sentences are in affirmative mode. Now, how can you transform it into imperative sentence? What is the structure of this assertive sentence? Assertive sentence, the structure is subject, and I have used you as subject. Then auxiliary verb. Auxiliary verb. A for auxiliary and V for verb. And then I have used principal verb. Then object. It is the structure of the given assertive sentence. Okay? Now, whenever you are asked to transform this sentence into imperative, then you should omit the subject you, because whenever I make a request or whenever I order somebody, then he or she will be present in front of me. Then I will not I will not indicate him as third person. As first person is I, and I am talking, I am speaking, and the person who is in front of me is the person whom I am speaking to. Whom I am speaking to. The person spoken to is the second person. But the person who is spoken about, I am speaking about Mr. Afridi. He is not present here, so he is the third person. But the first person and second person is present simultaneously. Here, I am the speaker, and the person whom I am speaking to is the second person, and about whom I am speaking is the third person. As you are present in front of me, then whenever I am asked to transform this sentence into imperative, then I will omit you. I also omit the auxiliary verb. That means you should erase you and the auxiliary verb. Whenever you find you as the subject and you are asked to transform it into imperative, then you will erase the subject and the auxiliary verb. Okay? Now, what is the rest of the sentence? Principal verb and object. You will write the base form of the principal verb and object. What will you do? That means you are erasing you and the auxiliary verb. And what is the rest of the sentence? Help the poor. You should use the base form of help, and here the base form also help, and then the object help the poor. You should write only help the poor. When you can find you as the subject of assertive sentence, and if the sentence is in affirmative mode, then you can do it. It is the rule of transforming an assertive sentence to imperative sentence. Whenever you find you as the subject and auxiliary verb, principal verb, object. Then what is the structure? Principal verb, base form and object. It is the imperative sentence. Then what will you do? You should erase you with must. Then what is the rest of the sentence? Go home now. You should write go home now. Go home now. Then the third sentence will be obey your elders. I have erased you and ought to, and I have written the base form of the finite verb, obey. You should write obey your elders. Okay, dears? Now I think that you are clear about this, whenever you find any assertive sentence which has the subject you, and if the sentence is in affirmative mode, then you should erase the subject and auxiliary verb and use only the base form of the verb and object as an imperative sentence. Okay? Now, dears, look at the board please again. And I am going to give you a suggestion that you should write the sentences on your exercise khata and try to understand the rules very much carefully. Dear students, you must not run in the sun. You must not run in the sun. You should never tell a lie. You should never tell a lie. You cannot do this act again. You cannot do this act again. Here, you can clearly notice that I have again used you as the subject of these three assertive sentences. And the sentence is in negative form. The sentence is not affirmative. Here I have used not. Not is the sign of negative form. Here I have used never. No and ever. Never. You should never tell a lie. You cannot do this act again. I have used not. So these three sentences are in negative form. And I have used you as the subject. So I have identified the subject here, okay? And I have identified that the sentence is in negative form. So what will you do? That means you are prohibiting someone. I am prohibiting you. I am prohibiting you to do something, to do some act. I am prohibiting you. Yes, I am prohibiting you in negative imperative form. The sentence should be in negative form. I cannot or I am not able to erase this not or this never. If I erase this not or never, the meaning of the sentence will be changed. But I have no ability to change the meaning of the sentence. So, the structure of these assertive sentences are subject, assertive, subject, and I have used you as the subject, then I have used an auxiliary verb, then not or never, then principal verb and object. You can notice that the structure of these sentences is in that form. Subject, auxiliary verb, not or never, then principal verb and object. Dear students, I think you are hearing me, but I have been suffering from a headache from last night. So I thought I will not be able to teach you today, but whenever I stand in front of you, then I get the strength. If I do something, if you don't understand my voice, then you will inform me, please. Now, dears, I have used you as subject here, and auxiliary verb, not or never, principal verb and object. whenever you are asked to transform this sentence into imperative, then what will you do? You will erase this subject with the auxiliary verb. I am not able to erase not, but I cannot use not without any auxiliary verb. Not is not used alone in a sentence. Not cannot be used. It should be used with an auxiliary verb. But whenever I transform or I make an imperative sentence, all the imperative sentence should be in the form of present tense. It will express the meaning present in future. I am giving you an order now, but you are not doing the thing now. You should do it. If I tell you, obey your elders, you are not obeying your elders now. I am going to give you an order, obey your elders. Then you should do it. You will do it in future. So, every and each imperative sentence expresses the meaning in present in future. The form of the verb will be in present form, but it will express the meaning. The action of this verb will be done in future. Now, not is never used without any kind of auxiliary verb. So, what type of auxiliary verb can I use in present indefinite tense? I can use do. Do. Then you should use do not. The short form of do not is don't. You have erased you and the auxiliary verb, and here I have used do and not. Do not or don't. You cannot change the rest of the sentence. Do not or don't run in the sun. Run in the sun. Here I have used never, not. I have used never. You should erase you and should. Subject and auxiliary verb should be erased. Then never. You need not to use any type of auxiliary verb before never. Okay? Because no and ever combinedly makes never. You should use never. You need not to use any type of auxiliary verb before never. Never tell a lie. Tell a lie. So, dear students, I think you are clear about these two sentences. And now I am going to write down the structure of imperative sentence. You should erase the subject and the auxiliary verb. If the assertive sentence is formed with the use of not, then you should use do not or don't. But if the sentence is in negative form with the use of never, then you need not to use any type of auxiliary verb. You should use only never. Never. Then the base form of principal verb and object. Okay? Now, don't, principal verb, base form and object. What will be the third sentence? You cannot do this act again. You should erase you and can. You can use do not do this act again or don't do this act again. Okay? Now, I think you have written the sentences on your exercise khata, exercise book. Now, I am going to give you other sentences. And you can clearly identify the difference between the previous sentences and the sentences that I am going to give now. I am going to write now. I can do the work. I can do the work. we should respect an honest man. We should respect an honest man. He will play football. He will play football. She can prepare a cup of tea. Now, you can clearly notice the difference between the previous sentences and the given sentences now. Here I have used first person and second person. No, the first person and third person, no second person here. I have used first person and third person as the subject. Okay? First person, I, we. Second person, he, she, they, or any name. Or if the subject indicates anything, then it. Okay? I and we, first person, he, she, they, it, or other any name is the third person. Here I have used first person or third person as the subject. Okay, I have not used you. Now, the sentence is in affirmative form. The subject is first person and third person, and the sentence is in affirmative mode. Here, whenever the subject is in second person, then I have the ability to erase, to cut out, to avoid the subject whenever I am asked to make an imperative sentence. Okay? But yes, I have used first person or third person as subject. If I am asked to transform these sentences into imperative, then I am not able to erase this subject. Okay? But I have no ability to use this subject as subjective form. So, I am a patient with diabetes and jaundice. Whenever I am a patient of diabetes, I need to go for a walk until I am sweating. Whenever I am a patient of diabetes, I need to take rest, bed rest. At the same time, if I am the patient of diabetes and jaundice, then I have nothing to do. I am not able to go out for a walk, and I am not able to take bed rest. Then what can I do? I will find out something. Then I am not able to use this subject in imperative sentence. Again, I have told you, I am not able to erase this subject. Then what can I do? I will find out another form of this subject. You know, the objective form of I is me. Okay? The objective form of I is me. And each and every imperative sentence starts with a verb. Here, whenever this sentence is asked to transform, then I will erase. I can erase only the auxiliary verb. Yes, each and every imperative sentence starts with a verb, and the subject is first person and third person, then I will use let as verb. You know, let. Let is a verb which expresses the meaning to offer something. To offer something, or to seek permission. To seek permission from someone. Okay? Then I will use let. then I will use the objective form of the subject. What is the objective form of I? Me. Let me. Then you need not to change the rest of the sentence. Let me do the work. Let me do the work. So dear students, what have I done? What I have done here? I have erased the auxiliary verb. I cannot use this auxiliary verb. Then I have erased this. But each and every imperative sentence starts with a verb, and for seeking permission or for promising, I will use let. Then I have used here let and the objective form of the subject. Let me. And without the auxiliary verb, you can use the rest of the sentence. Let me do the work. Then dear students, whenever the sentence is in affirmative form, what is the structure? Subject. And the subjects are first and third person. First and third person. Then auxiliary verb, principal verb and object. These auxiliary verb, principal verb, combinedly, these are called finite verb. Okay? Now, whenever you are asked to make it an imperative sentence, you should erase the auxiliary verb. Then you will start the sentence with the use of let. Then the objective form of subject, not object, objective form of subject. For that reason, at the very beginning of the class, I have told you, you should be very much careful about subject. Then you should be very careful about the mood of the assertive sentence. Then objective form of subject, and then the base form of principal verb and object. Okay? You need not to use any auxiliary verb here again. Then what will you do for the second sentence? Let, the objective form of we is us. You should erase the auxiliary verb and let us respect an honest man. An honest man. The sentence is we always respect an honest man. We need not to take any permission, or we need not to take any permission from others. Then the third sentence is he will play football. You will start the sentence with let and the objective form of him. Then you will erase will. Let him play football. Let him play football. Okay? Now, dears, you can easily transform the fourth sentence. Let her prepare a cup of tea. Okay, dears? Now I am going to erase the sentences from the board. Dear students, you can notice that all the sentences were in affirmative form. Now I am going to give you some sentences, and all the sentences will be in negative form. Please look at the board and write down. I cannot help a criminal. I cannot help a criminal. We should never disobey. We should never disobey the elders. We should never disobey the elders. He will not make a noise. He will not make a noise. Rahim will not will not mix with them. Karim should never tell a lie. Okay, dear students, there is also a difference. Here, I have used the first person and the third person as the subject, but the sentences are in negative form. There is also a difference. Here, I, we, and he, all of you know that these subjects are pronouns. But here I have used to name Karim and Rahim. You should identify the nouns. I will do these sentences after solving this sentence. Please make a star mark by the side of the last two sentences. Here the sentences are in negative form. Okay, dears? The structure is, whenever it is in assertive form, subject, and the subjects are first or third person, okay? Then auxiliary verb, principal verb, auxiliary verb with not or never, plus principal verb and object. Dear students, here you can identify that, you can notice that all the sentences are in negative form. Okay? এখন, if you are asked to transform it into affirmative, first you should identify if the sentences are in the form of a pronoun or a noun. First you should identify it. In the first three sentences, all the subjects are in pronominal form. Now, if the subjects are in the pronoun form, then what will you do? You should start the imperative sentence with the use of let. Okay? Let. Then the objective form of the subject. Let me. Let me. Then you should erase the auxiliary verb and use the negative form, not or never. Let me not help a criminal. Let me not help a criminal. Here you can notice that I have used this negative form after the object, after the objective form of the subject. Let, I have written the objective form of the subject me, then I have used the negative form, not or never. Okay? Let me not help a criminal. I can do it. Let, the objective form of we, us, let us, you should erase should and use the never. Let us never disobey the elders. Okay? Here I have also used the negative word after the objective form. Identify it and remember it, what I am telling you. Let us never disobey the elders. So, what is the structure? I have started the sentence with the use of let and then the objective form of the subject. Objective form. Objective form. And then I have used not or never. I have used not or never. And after that, the principal verb and object. Okay? Dears, whenever the subject is in pronoun form, the structure of the imperative sentence will be this. The third sentence should be let, the objective form of he is him, let him not make a noise. Okay? Now, dears, whenever I started these sentences, then I had told you to make a star mark for the last two sentences. Why? Now I am going to express it. Then I am going to explain it to you. I have erased the first three sentences. Now, dears, Rohim will not mix with them. Rohim will not mix with them. Here, the subject is not a pronoun. Subject is not a pronoun, it is a noun. So, here you can use this not. Look at the sentence, how I am going to transform it into imperative. I will start the sentence with the use of let. Okay, fine. But I will erase this auxiliary verb and I should use the negative words after let. Let not. Then I will use the objective form of the noun. You know, the subjective and objective form of any noun is the same. Let not Karim. It is the difference. Only it is the difference. Whenever the subject is the pronoun, then you will use this not after the objective form. But whenever the subject is noun, then you should use the negative words before the objective form of the noun. Let not Karim mix with them. Mix with them. Okay? This is the difference. And only for that reason, I have told you to identify the sentences with star marks. Then what is the structure of this imperative sentence? If the subject is noun, then you will start let, then not or never, and then you should use the noun. Actually, you are using the objective form of noun, but all of you know that the subjective and objective form of any noun is the same. Then the principal verb and object. Okay, dears? Let not Karim mix with them. Here, not the subject was not Karim, was Rohim. Here the second sentence will be let never, let never. Here the negative word is never. Let never, then you should use the objective form of Karim. Let never Karim tell a lie. Tell a lie. Okay, dears? And this is the rules of transforming any assertive sentence into imperative. Okay? Dears, now I am going to give you some instruction how you will be able to transform any assertive sentence to exclamatory. Dears, now I am going to give you instruction about the rules of transformation of transforming assertive sentence to exclamatory. Exclamatory. Dears, all of you know the definition of exclamatory sentence. It expresses the sudden feeling. It expresses the sudden feeling. It expresses the feeling of joy, sorrow, etc. Such as, I have become wondered by seeing a scenery. After watching a scenery, after observing a scenery, then I can say, wow, what a beautiful scenery it is. It is the exclamatory sentence. Sometimes I can make my sudden feeling by using single word, just like whenever you are walking and you have stumbled, then you can say, oh, these are also exclamation sign, but oh, alas, these are not exclamatory sentence. These are what? Can you tell me? Oh, what type of word? Oh, alas is? You know the definition of parts of speech: noun, pronoun, adjective, verb, adverb, preposition, conjunction, and interjection. interjection. These words are interjection. Interjection will express the sudden feeling. Now, I am going to give you some instruction about the rules of transforming assertive sentence to exclamatory. Dears, whenever you are asked to transform any assertive sentence to exclamatory, you should be careful about the structure of the assertive sentence. Very much careful about the structure of the assertive sentence. Now, look at the board, please. This is a very wonderful scenery. This is a very wonderful scenery. It is a very tall tree. It is a very tall tree. He can do a great job. Okay, fine. Here, the structure of the assertive sentence, subject, verb, and object. In the assertive sentence, I have used very and an adjective here. Before very or great, I have used an article, a. Please identify it. I have used an article here. So, what is the structure of this assertive sentence? Subject, finite verb, article, very or great. The sentence may contain great. Subject, finite verb, article, very or great, then adjective or adverb. Then I have used a noun here. Now, this is the structure of the assertive sentence, given assertive sentence. Now, how can you transform it into exclamatory? You have noticed that I have used an article here. So, at the time of transforming it, you will erase the word very or great, because it will express highly of anything. It will express the highly quality of anything. Now, I will erase very or great. Yes, there is an article. Yeah, I cannot use any other word except what? By erasing very or great, I will use what? Then I should use the article a. It may be changed, a or n. What a? I will use the adjective. What a wonderful scenery. What a wonderful scenery. Here you can notice that by erasing very, and as there is an article, I have used what here, and after that I have used the article. The article may be in different form also, n. What a? I have used the adjective and the noun. After the phrases after the word very or great, adjective and noun, here I have not used the subject and verb yet. Now I will use the subject and verb. What a wonderful scenery this is, and the exclamation mark will be at the end of the sentence. What a wonderful scenery this is. What have you done? What I have done here. Now look at the structure. This is the structure of assertive sentence. Now I am going to transform it into exclamatory, and the structure is, I will erase this very or great, and Whenever I find any article here, then by erasing very or great, I will use what? Then article. After that, I will write the adjective and noun, if noun is here. Adjective and or adverb plus noun, plus noun. Dears, then I should use the subject and finite verb. First I will use subject and then finite verb, and with an exclamation mark. Dears, then what will be the second sentence? There is an article. I will erase very what? A. The adjective is tall. The first letter of tall is T. So I will use A. What a tall, then the noun, what a tall tree, then I will use the subject and verb. It is, exclamation mark. What a tall tree, it is. Now, he can do a great job. What? You can erase great. Yeah, what a, you will write the job. What a job he can do. He, now I am erasing the rules structure here. What a job he can do. He can do. Okay, dears, it is the starting of the rules from assertive to exclamatory. I will give you the another information in the next classes. Till then, I hope you will be safe and sound. Thank you very much.